Hello guys, on this week's edition on Editing for Beginners, I'm going to be looking at audio and sound transitions, so don't go anywhere. At the moment I'm using Magic, which is the program I prefer to use, and it's a brilliant program. And today I just want to give you some hints and tips and just some tools that you may need to edit your audio in the best way possible. Now what I'd recommend before you even get to the editing part is ensure that you've used a good microphone, you've recorded good sound, because it just makes all the editing so much easier. If you've got a poor microphone or you put it on low or you mess around with settings, sometimes it just makes your life so much more difficult than it needs to be. So I'm going to knock in some transitions, some video clips for you guys. So you put in your video clips and you've got them on your timeline, and what I'm about to show you today will apply with any editing program that you use, being on your phone or on your computer or however you wish. Say you got two clips here. So just for argument's sake, I'm going to cut some of these clips now. I'm going to bring this out and I'm going to use this single clip and I'm going to cut it just to show you some of the things you can do. So what's really cool here is with a lot of programs you can literally just drag and drop, sort of drag across how you want the audio to go, and this goes along with your video, but we're concentrating on audio. And as you can see, look,
bit closer. So I do this. Hello everybody, I'm all shook up.
So as you can see, the audio just quite nicely just fades across, and this is probably the easiest transition to use. There's lots of fancy names for it, but to be honest, I've been editing for years. I don't really care what the editing terms are called, because really you just want the practicality of how to do it. I find it more important to know exactly how to do it rather than what it's called. So if you just see it as a simple transition, you just fade in two clips across. It's probably the easiest form of audio transition, and you can just see with your clips.
Hello everybody, I'm all shook up. You can see the difference in the audio straight away.
So yeah, so as I've sort of accidentally on purpose done there, I've just said that as well. So that's really cool. Now another thing you can do, which is quite cool, is you can unclip clips. And what you could do here, so say for example, we're going to cut them over, and for whatever reason you might want two audio clips to underlay each other, overlap, maybe have different types of audio on at the same time. You can bear this in mind. And what's really cool now, we can sort of put that over, maybe delete that bit of video, bring over the two clips. I'm going to re-link these two, just because it then keeps them together. Now what you might find on a lot of phone apps and some editing programs is you will automatically get the video and audio on different tracks just to make it easier. This particular program only does it if you ask it to, which took me a bit of getting used to, because I've always been used to having them there automatically, so don't worry about trying to find them, because quite often they'll be there anyway on each individual clip. So what's really cool here, you can do this.
Bit closer. So hello everybody, I'm all shook up.
So you get the idea. So you could sort of have and what you'd use this particular transition for is if you've got two people talking, and say you want to make it appear. So say for example, maybe like me in the past, I've had two characters and I want it to appear like they're both in a room at the same time, and just by overlaying, having that bit of audio cut just before the next one starts, like I've shown here, it gives that impression that that person is talking as well. And say if you've got two different actors, two different people, you can do the same thing as well. And that's something to bear in mind. Now if we look at music, for example, now what I would say massively, highly recommend, if you're going to use music, make sure it's duty free, copyright free. Don't just post your favourite songs from films, because quite often you might get flagged, or if someone's made that song they might not like that, and you'll get your video taken down, which is just drama you don't need. So just bear that in mind. What I'd highly recommend actually is YouTube now do a brilliant copyright free music library where you can just take music from, and some of them say if you just mention their song in your description, they're happy with that. And quite a lot of the songs have literally been made for YouTube. I'm just going to use an example of this now, and if I can find it. So if you're getting value from this video and you're enjoying the content, please give us a like and a share and subscribe to this channel. Okay, so you found your music, and there are literally thousands to pick from, or perhaps you've made your own, which I've also done in the past. And what's really cool, I use a program called Music Maker where you can actually make your own. It takes time. It probably takes just as long as editing a video, but it could be worth it. And you don't even have to have a talent for it. It could be something you just learn along the way. Just, you know, bear that in mind. I wouldn't say I personally have a talent for music, you know, in the sense of like, you know, Oscar-winning music, but you know, over the years I've got quite good at maybe doing backtracks, or you know, maybe just what I'd call like underlay bits of music. So you know, when I've been making films in the past, I want to set the scene and just make a simple bit of music. You know, and you know, it means you can post it to YouTube without worry about copyright because you've made the music. And if you're a musician, that's even better. Or if you know someone who's a musician, you could perhaps get them to make the song. Do you know what I mean? So there's lots of things you can do here. For example, I'm talking now.
At the moment, I'm about a foot and a bit away from my microphone, and you can see the difference in the sound. Now, if I get a bit closer, so I do this, I'm all shook up. You can see.
So yeah, you can see I'm using the same clip. I'm just using it as an example. Now, with this particular bit of song, it's just started. It's not particularly loud, but if you've got something a bit more upbeat and stuff like that. So say if I drag it later, I know for a fact that this particular track gets a bit louder.
Probably the most obvious tip, as silly as it sounds, this is something that I don't always get perfect, is the distance from the microphone. If you just think how far you are.
So what I would do here to edit the particular soundtrack is I would perhaps cut it to where you want it. Most editing softwares have like a scissor tool where you can just clip that, and we can just delete that, get out of the way for now. We don't need that now. And as you can see, it sort of zooms in. And what you could do to perhaps set the scene is fade in the song. It might sound silly, but it's amazing how you a bit slower, or if it's a faster bit of song, you might want a quick transition. So you might only pull it back a little bit, so it just zooms in straight away. If you want to sort of bring it in gradually, just drag out that transition a bit longer. And as you can possibly hear, the music will slowly fade in, and that could be a great way to set a scene. It doesn't have to be in filmmaking. It could be if you're making a certain video, or if you're doing a family blog or personal blog. You might just want to fade in a bit of music to start the video, or you know, so you could be really creative with that. I mean, that's really cool.
Okay, so the first and probably the most obvious tip, as silly as it sounds, this is something that I don't always get perfect.
And I really like that form of transition because it just gradually brings in the track. Now you could say, what happens if I've got something really loud, something a bit more upbeat, if you want to, you know, make the scene or the particular blog a bit more cheerful. And they tend to be louder songs, louder tracks. So what I would say with that is, there's a couple of things you can do. So what I would recommend, you know, without being over complex, is quite often on most programs they give you the option to bring down the level of the track. And the easiest way to do that is just get the little sound bar, which is usually halfway, you know, halfway across the track, and you can just bring it down. But experiment with this. So I would start maybe only say -2. See how you go.
Okay, so the first and probably the most obvious tip, as silly as it sounds, this is something that I don't.
And just a little rule of thumb: you want the music to perhaps be a quarter of the volume of you talking. Otherwise, people would tend to listen to the music more than you, and it sort of defeats the point if you perhaps talk about something serious. Or like in my interview video I did a few weeks ago before this, you know, it just sort of shows that, you know, and just sets the scene. So what I would highly recommend again is just bring down the track. Now I personally would maybe bring it down to about -10. If it's a louder track, you may have to bring it down more.
Okay, so the first and probably the most obvious tip, as silly as it sounds.
So you can see it's more in the background, and that's the whole point. Especially if you're talking. Now, obviously you're saying, well, what happens if I don't want it to be like that? So say if I'm not talking at all, and just before I show that, I just want to show you what you can do. If perhaps your audio isn't great, or perhaps the audio volume hasn't recorded quite as loud as you like it, and you're still struggling with but you still really want the music, what I would recommend is just turn up your own personal recording. An easy way to do that is just drag up the volume here, just make it +2 straight away, and just bear in mind though, don't turn your own personal volume up too high, because then you'll start getting white noise. Now you can clean it in audio effects and stuff like that, but I recommend you'll never get it quite as good as you might perhaps like it, and you could probably waste hours messing around with that when you probably didn't really need to do it anyway. So I'm not going to get into too much detail now, but just bear in mind you can do that.
Okay, so the first and probably the most obvious tip.
So you can see I've pretty much got the level right now. You know, I'm at a good volume, and the music's just subtly in the background, just sort of sets the scene, helps to tell the story. And I really do feel that audio is at least half of any video, and music just helps to reinforce that. So, say for example, the interview I did the other week when I was just being serious about why I love doing this sort of thing. I just wanted a bit of music that's just sort of set the scene. And just think of films, you know, when you've got a comedy or romantic, that you tend to have tracks that fit that. So if you're doing something really scary, you wouldn't have like, I don't know, something really silly music in the background. So sort of bear that in mind. And I appreciate you probably know that, but just sort of bear that in mind. You know, you want the right track, the right music for the right whatever mood you're trying to set. Now, another thing I'd say from that is say, right, we've done all that, you know, I don't want to be talking. Perhaps you're doing a music video, or perhaps you just want, you know, just clips of you, and you don't want that. So what I'd recommend there is just delete your own audio. Now, you could bring down the audio down to 0 and just turn the audio off, but I find personally it's simpler just to select the tracks that you know you don't want you talking or being heard to be talk, and in most programs you should be able to delete that. I can't find that on here at the minute, which is annoying. So if you can't, just unselect, unclip each clip, just click on the individual audio track, press delete, and there you go, it's gone. And then from there, if you want to, we can cut the clip to where we want it. And the reason I'm doing this so it doesn't affect the other clip, so I can just bring in that music and just makes it easier. So now you know that you've literally got the clips of you, and then you've got the bit of music, and then obviously you want that music back up to where it was. You might want it louder. I personally would put the soundtrack just to normal, sort of 0, 0, 0.0, and now it's on its normal volume. And now you've got the music. And what's really cool now, this is when you can play with transitions to add in your audio. This is when the magic really starts. Please don't go anywhere. If you've been enjoying this video, do not go anywhere. I'm going to show you something really cool now. So you see that effect, you've probably seen it in films to be fair without even realising, but that effect just looks really nice when you want to show the transition of time, or maybe you want to show like, you know, something happening. I suppose that's sort of the same thing. And it's just a really nice way to just maybe break up one of your videos. You could have you like talking, maybe if you're doing a personal blog, you could have you talking, blah, blah, blah. And then perhaps for about, you know, 30 seconds, you just have a few snapshots of you doing different things, whatever it is you're doing in your video, with just a little bit of nice music, and it just breaks up the video. Or it could be the way you end the video, how, you know, whatever your style is. So it's really cool what you can do there with audio, which is really cool. And again, like I said, you can make your own tracks, your own music, but you can do all sorts of stuff. So you can add, I don't know, let's make it sort of hall-like. You can add in an echo. Let's make it sort of simple echo. Let's see how that sounds like.
If you want to learn more about YouTube and drive more channel, subscribe now. Let's crack on the video.
So I don't know, there could be a reason why you want to do that. Maybe it's a silly effect. Like I said, if you're doing a film and you make out you're in a cave, you might want to add the echo and just play around. As you can see here, just play around with the different transitions of that, and you can reverse audio as well, which is quite cool. Audio cleaning is something. Now this particular program Magic has loads of tools, which I might perhaps go in a deeper video. I personally don't use most of them. I just don't see the need, because I find if you've got a good microphone, you've recorded good audio, you don't really need to do much cleaning because you've already recorded good quality sound. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got value from it, from the few tips today that I've shown you on audio editing. I'll perhaps make more on this if you've enjoyed this, and look out for the next videos in this particular playlist on editing for beginners. So thank you again. Have a great day. And don't forget to check out our links in the description and the end cards at the end of the video. Have a great day, and guess what, you guys? You guys rock.